emergency. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe the first order of business in conferring with Mr. Davis, and he can add to my comments yesterday regarding the situation we had and the fact that a number of the commissioners were in D.C. on to meet with our legislative delegation there, and the inability to meet to declare a local state of emergency. We took the liberty from an administrative standpoint to declare that local state with the anticipation that as we met this morning, we'd ask you to ratify that action and make your resolution retroactive to yesterday. Mr. Davis?
Yeah, that's correct. Commissioners, as you know, we had a little rain, and you were not available to meet to declare the state of emergency under our organizational structure. The county administrator can or can delegate that to persons on the staff. Kudos to the staff for getting together here very early yesterday morning and getting things ready and organized. We had two separate emergency management meetings yesterday during the day, one at 9 and one at 2 p.m. To make sure the response was coordinated. But what we need for you to do today is to go ahead and ratify the action that was taken yesterday to declare the state of emergency, and be my suggestion to at least extend it for 7 days at this point.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr.
Motion
Chairman,
carries.
I would echo from what I understand from the briefings I've had this morning that our public works crews, our public safety crews, our sheriff's department, emergency services, ambulances, and fire all have been doing yeoman work in helping to address the situation. As overwhelming as it is, and I wanted to express my appreciation to them for the work they have done, are doing, and will be doing for the county.
And just to follow up on that from an administration side, being 1,000 miles away and picking up the phone and saying, y'all got it, yeah, handle it. So kudos to all of them that were involved yesterday from administration and public works, and Mr. Beatty and his staff, and the work that was done and begun. And know we've got a lot yet to do, but we're well on our way.
Okay, one thing I want to echo what everybody said so far is concerning staff and local and also the state agencies that's helped in assisting us, is that this is going to be a long-term operation, and people are going to have to be patient. That water has got to go somewhere, and it's going to take an enormous amount of time for it to get out, especially south of the bay. And we have a lot of work to do. There's probably not a district in the county that hasn't suffered some damage, and more significant, I think, right now, from what I understand, across the bay. We got in about 2:30 this morning, so we could get back on the ground here, so we can do our assessment along with our staff, and we'll be out there, or at least I'll be out there a lot today, checking my district out. But anyway, thanks again to everyone out there I'm looking at this morning for your assistance and working together to get this accomplished.
I want to add my 2 cents. I was at the EOC with Russell and them the better part of the day yesterday until I had to come here. And under difficult circumstances, they had to move back into the sheriff's department. Everybody did an outstanding job. Everybody cooperated, worked together. Conditions were not ideal, but they made them work. And then when I came in at 2 o'clock for the meeting with staff, they were on the ball. And of course, I can't say enough about Public Works. Those people have been out there now probably for close to 48 hours straight. So kudos to absolutely everybody. We have, we're lucky. We have damage, but we haven't lost any lives so far. So I think, we can go forward, and we can certainly make repairs.
Okay, I guess we'll start with Mr. Beatty. If you'll come up and bring us up to date.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administrator. We started our operational period at 6 o'clock this morning. Yesterday, we got in 6 units from the Florida National Guard.
Can you speak up?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. Last night we got 6 units in, 6 high water vehicles in from the Florida National Guard. We deployed 3 of those immediately into previously inaccessible areas in South Walton, and we have been able to successfully clear those areas and make contact with the citizens in those areas, namely the Cypress, Breeze, Point Washington, and Driftwood areas. The other 3 units I have positioned here in the north end of the county, and today they are being deployed into the Shoal River Plantation area, Natural Bridge, 8 Mile area. These are areas that we had previously been unable to get into, although the recedence of the water is now probably going to allow more normal vehicles, but we're going to go ahead and let the Guard get in there and make contact with those folks and make sure they're okay and see if they have any unmet needs. Additionally, we're sending trucks at this time to Bunker and Steelfield and to the Joe Duggar, the portion we call the east-west Joe Duggar Road. We've had some severe washouts there, and there's about 9 homes there that we've been unable to get to. Chilco's got a big old power truck stuck down there in the sheriff's office. Nobody's been able to penetrate that yet, so we're going to get down there and make sure those folks are okay. We sheltered about 6 people at the high school yesterday, and we were able to case manage those people into other accommodations yesterday afternoon, and we kept the shelter open until midnight just in case there were any latecomers, and we closed that shelter at midnight. So the high school is now free for returning to academic purposes. The Chelco has secured power in the Spotted Dolphin community in South Walton. I think there's about 6 homes down there. And so that is the only area that we have had to do a neighborhood-wide cutoff. Yesterday I requested joint damage assessment from the state and FEMA for individual assistance and public assistance. We're getting on the list. Obviously, they're going to start with the more impacted counties to our west, and we're looking at Monday at the earliest for those teams to arrive. And I would just second some of the comments you all have made. The EOC is a resource vetting operation, and we couldn't do it without the hard work of the people in the field. And Public Works crews, fire rescue here on the north end, and South Walton Fire District have stepped up to the plate tremendously and helped us in this effort, as has the Sheriff's Office. And our state partners with forestry have been beside us, offering to assist. So we just applaud them and their efforts.
Any questions?
Is this your slide, Sean? We did get some photos sent to us yesterday, but there's some ones here I'm not familiar with, and I just wondered whoever got this. I'd love to hear a little bit about what some of these locations are.
A lot of these pictures were accumulated from various sources throughout the day, so even I'm confused when I look at some of them. I know they're all Walton County pictures, but there's some of them that I can't identify either.
Why don't we go through them? And Wilmer, if you and Rick and Lou that may have some knowledge of them as we go through them, offer what you can so we can.
I would, in closing, I would point out our impacts this time appear to be greater than what we saw in the July 2013 flood event. I'm not sure what we're going to see in terms of road damage and public type infrastructure damage, but we certainly have had more homes and businesses impacted this time than we had previously. Even though we saw 10 inches of less rain in this event. Yesterday they told me that in Santa Rosa Beach we got about 14.5 inches of rain. The difference being is that rainfall fell in a very short period of time, and with the saturated ground and everything, obviously, as we know, that the water has nowhere to go. The weight of the water in the ground caused a lot of erosion and collapse situations. Also, I had previously, I forgot to mention, yesterday we had 2 structural collapses on 30A, opposite ends of 30A. One was a house that collapsed. All people were successfully rescued and evacuated from that property. On the other end, we had a townhouse complex that an exterior wall collapsed, causing exposure of those units and weakening of the structure. They were successfully evacuated. We had a citizen contact the sheriff with concerns about the Edgewater condominium and its structural stability due to undermining of the foundation. Fire crews and sheriff's office personnel responded and determined the building was unsafe and ordered it evacuated. We evacuated 35 residents. I don't believe any of them went to the shelter. They all chose other accommodations, and I believe that building is still unoccupied and would have to be certified by a structural engineer before we can reopen that.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Just a quick, Rick Wilson for the record, just a quick background. A lot of these photos were taken from Wilmer, from the sheriff's office, from residents out in the field, and we just tried to put them in one place so we'd have good documentation of what went on throughout the day. And I'm going to flip through the pictures and let Wilmer give you a description of what each one is.
Good morning, Commissioners. Wilmer Stafford, Public Works. This picture here is the one, that is just east of 283. That is on the Bike Path Bridge. That was the water going over the Bike Path Bridge. This is that's the Edgewater condo, where the water had actually came between the condo and the house there at the lake. That's the house, yes, there at Gov Place. Yeah, the same one. I did not take that one.
Sandestin.
Sandestin.
Yeah.
This is also Sandestin. That car was floating in the parking lot that we were trying to show with these pictures here. That's 3280, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
3280, did you say?
Okay, that's off.
That's Long Road, I'm sorry.
That picture's off MacBow going north, and it was on the west side.
Mac Bayou.
Also MacBow.
Magnolia.
Mm-hmm. That's 3280. That's the culvert that just blew out in the last rain event we had.
Old Blue Mountain.
What condition is it in right now, Wilmer, you know?
We actually got crews on scene, Commissioner, repairing that. And we hope to get 3280 open today.
Old Blue Mountain.
Yeah, the old Blue Mountain.
That's Highway 98. Again, Highway 98. There by
Yes,
the
sir.
Goodwill.
That's,
That's in that Neely
that was
business-
east of
Neely Business
393, wasn't it?
Plaza.
Okay.
Another Edgewater picture.
Edgewater.
I'm not sure where that
That's Edgewater too, I believe.
I believe so.
That's the Edgewater where it comes down through there. That's the South Walton mosquito control on 393 North. That whole area was underwater. Yeah, there's the picture with it. That's 393 looking back north toward the bay.
This is weather for today, just what we have coming up for the rest of the day and where the storm tracks push the rain today. That's Edgewater.
Yeah, another Edgewater picture. 3280.
3280. That's that house. That's pretty much it.
Yes.
I did have some video if y'all like to see that. It's up to you. Little redfish. When the road actually collapsed.
This was one that was on YouTube, right? And the
Mhm.
person was
Yes.
standing right there, and then it fell in.
Yes.
Just for clarity, this little redfish, which was the damage we had in the last one, was big redfish. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
So it held up.
Right. Yes, sir. This is just, we've had a little bit of damage at Big Redfish. It actually washed our flume away. It's
Okay.
eroded the edge of the road, and we hopes to get it repaired also today.
Just Thompson Road on it.
Yeah, there's Thompson. And I think Thompson is one of the connector roads that's still underwater at this time.
Mac Bayou.
And Chet Holly's open, correct?
This is Chat Hall.
Chet Holly has still got water in there. Yes, ma'am. There's a lot of water on Chet Holly. It and Indian Woman, that intersection is real bad.
This one didn't have the right orientation in the transfer, but this is Oyster Lake outfall.
Right.
Little pedestrian bridge. It used to be a small
And
ditch.
there was pipes there side that bridge that the contractor had permits to take out and was in his contract, but he had not got to it yet, and it took care of the pipes.
I was going to say, he probably doesn't need to now, does he?
No, sir. I think we've lost approximately 15,000 yards of sand at that location.
And I saw some exchange yesterday from Purple Rish and the DEP on expediting getting that
Right, yes, sir.
pulled back together.
This will be the last one I have.
Where's that?
That's that house at the garage.
Okay. there at Gov Place. And as of this morning, Commissioners, we've got countywide 67 roads that we've got listed closed. We've got a place at Little Red Fish, as you've seen, that's washed out. We will have it back open with Draper Lake, partial road lane loss. There, we will have it back open today. So 38 should be reopened, except for Oyster Lake.
Wilmer, how bad did it damage at the new bridge? Is there any?
Yes, sir. There's, other than sand, Commissioner, that's about the only thing we've lost, a lot of sand.
And a good portion of that was in the outfall?
Yes, sir. And, going out to the Gulf, they had the sheet piling wall to help retain that. Well, the water got up so high, it got over the sheet piling wall, which was there to protect it, and it just started caving in on both sides. So it sheared off. A lot of sand left that area.
Well, I know it's not our road, but what's 331 like, where the new construction is going on? Is it just...
It was rough yesterday morning going down, Commissioner, but yesterday afternoon coming in, it was a lot of improvement. It was a lot better. And I realized we got some rain last night. I don't really know how much in that area, but it was good. We, as far as spotted dolphin, we've got it out of all the homes in there. There may be one more at the end, but by the end of the day, we're going to have all the water out of spotted dolphin community. We still got a lot of flooding issues in private communities that we've not even got a chance to address yet.
Did we lose any equipment to the flooding?
I'm sorry, sir.
Did we lose any equipment due
No,
to the
sir.
flooding?
When we had went in there prior to the day before and pumped spotted dolphin, pumped the lake down, and at 4 o'clock yesterday morning, it was iffy about saving our pump, but we did get him to save it. The water had come up that fast on Spotted Dolphin Road.
Wilmer, you have any intent to reach out to the state for additional manpower or equipment or resources to come in here and help do this? Help us catch up?
Not at this time, Commissioner, not till we get a good estimate on what we do got. I know we got a lot of road damage in the north end. It really looked worse yesterday than it actually turned out to be on the south. I mean, I know we got a lot of damage, but it's not what we really expected it to be. The roads really held up good.
Well,
As one time, we thought Draper Lake was gone.
Well, I know that your crews and personnel will want to get out there and do all the work, but they're going to get tired.
Oh, yes, sir.
And so if we can get those state resources over here or assistance, maybe we can give them some downtime,
Okay.
let them catch up.
It would. Any help would be more than welcome with us. It would.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to comment on Wilmer. He had more to do than he could say grace over yesterday, but he knew that I was very concerned about 2 or 3 spots in my district. That man called me at least 4 times yesterday, took the time out to call me to tell me what was going on because I couldn't get down there. I couldn't get across the bay. And Wilmer took the time to call me and assure me that everything was being done and that the residents in my area were safe. And so I owe him a big debt.
No,
Thank you.
you're welcome, Commissioner.
You're going to say it's your job, but you went above and beyond your job yesterday, as well as Buddy and everybody else.
We
in
did.
Public Works.
We have a great staff. We do.
Yeah.
Can't say enough of good things about them.
All right, is there anything else you want to pass on? What's your
Not
plan
really,
of
no,
attack?
sir.
Your plan of attack over the next month?
We're just going to beat away at it. We've got our damage assessment bunch, in-house damage assessment crews out. They're taking pictures, they're logging. We'll come back, we'll put all that together to go along with the state and Fed coming in Monday. And
Well, in the interim, and just for board's consideration, I do believe last year that we did take some temporary measures for those private roads where we could at least get emergency equipment in there
Yes,
if
sir.
need be. And I'm sure we have that now, as whether or not we want to direct Wilmer and his staff to make that temporary fix to allow emergency equipment to get in there.
Let them make the call, just let them decide.
Yes, 'cause
And Commissioners, once that state of emergency is proclaimed, then they certainly have the authority to do that.
I want to say this to Wilmer, and I think we have most of our other divisions and departments represented. You utilize every asset we have in the county. So the rest of you, if Wilmer calls and needs something, let's accommodate him the best we can. So don't worry about clearing it through admin unless you feel compelled to.
thank you, sir.
But we're here to support your efforts in any way you need us to support them, and I believe they'll have the same from the commissioners.
And, you know, it's amazing because I have called on them, and I'm telling you, everybody, it's one of the greatest teams I have ever been around. I ain't
Mr.
kidding.
Davis, do we need to have a motion or anything concerning the private driveways and all that? Okay, thank you.
No, so once, that's covered under the state of emergency.
Do you think schools will be open tomorrow, Mr. Davis?
I'll put my school board hat on. That largely depends on how many roads are passable and how safe it is for those buses to pass. I know Mr. Hicks from the school district's here listening, so we'll try to make that call. We usually try to make that call by 2 in the afternoon. So
This morning, when I was listening to Channel 13 or 7, so I don't know which one it was, I'm sorry, they were saying in some of the counties, like Gulf or whatever, they were saying if your road's impassable, the parents have the responsibility to get them to the first nearest paved road. That the bus would not go down it, but, you know, so I thought that was interesting, that they would put, you know.
as a school board member, I think that's a horrible idea. That's just my thinking.
Okay, anything else, Wilmer?
No, sir.
Okay. Mr. Beatty? Russell? Can you give us an update of what we can expect over the next several days concerning any weather that's coming in?
Yes, sir. As the video had shown earlier, there is still some thunderstorm activity we're expecting to get through here as the actual cold front that's pushing this storm system is arriving today, as you may have noticed with the cooler temperatures. So that is bringing along with it some additional thunderstorm activity. We may see up to another inch throughout the day. And then again on Friday, we have another small system approaching that may bring us another inch. So we may see up to another 2 inches before the end of the week.
Okay, thank you. Brian? Any concerns with the TDC?
Morning, Commissioners. Brian Kellenberger, Walton County TDC Beach Operations, standing in for Jim Bagby, who had previous obligations out of town. We fared fairly well. Our initial assessment of all of our regional beach accesses reveals no damage. Some minor soffit tear out from wind. Biggest problem is storm debris in the parking lots. The bike path has minimal damage, some portions underwater, some isolated erosion issues at the edge. We have members out this morning assessing our bridges to see, especially at Draper Lake and at Little Redfish, see if there's any significant structural damage. If it looks like something we can't assess properly, we'll bring an engineer to look at it. Dune Lake outfalls, of course, are all raging rivers. Code enforcement is on the beach today to warn and protect any sightseers of issues like that. The beach, both east and west ends, mainly minor storm debris on it. Our efforts at this point are cleaning up the regional beach accesses and the bike path where we can. We'll be on the beach side tomorrow cleaning up what storm debris we can. Our admin, marketing, sales team has been in touch with all of our tax collectors to assess their issues. Right now, it doesn't appear that anybody's out of business. Other than that, I think we fared pretty well with the TDC. We do have some resources available: tractor, bobcat, dump truck. We have a couple of service vehicle accesses, one at Wells Tail and one at Inlet Beach that got washed out. I'll get with our team and we can help out getting those back in shape, and any other places that for beach access that we can help out, we'll do it. Like I say, we fared pretty well, and we're here to help where we can.
How many lakes actually burst?
Every one of them.
Every one of them?
Yeah. I looked at Western Lake and Eastern Lake yesterday, and they were flowing significantly. Whitewater, 3 to 4 foot standing waves pushing out into the Gulf. So sand, of course, eroding seriously. But I've asked code enforcement to monitor those areas to keep, as people want to go down, check it out, throw their surfboards in it and all that. So they're out there and help with the sheriff's office to keep people safe.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Chief Coley, you got any comments you want to make concerning your operation?
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Coley. We've been very lucky. Let me rephrase it. We've been very fortunate. No fatalities. 3 structure fires directly related to lightning strikes. Trees down. Our guys have been out getting creative on getting access to people, creating different ways to get into inaccessible areas. So far, we're doing very well. Public Works they got a good game going.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you. Bruce Smith, you have any comments you want to make concerning forestries?
Just that Washington and Pine Lawn State Forest is closed. We've got all the gates closed due to a impassable road. But other than that, we're here to assist anybody that have any.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's see. Miss Sarah?
Yes, sir.
Not you.
Okay.
The other Sarah. The city got any comments or concerns or issues that we might be able to help with?
No, sir, we've been extremely fortunate.
Okay.
We've been able to take care of everything we have.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question for Sarah. Sarah, we got emails saying there were 7 inches of water at City Hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from, but no, there was never
Yeah, I
any
heard
water
that.
in City Hall.
I heard that too.
Jeannie had to be flooded.
Yeah.
You get up to City Hall, how's that?
It came down that hill.
Yeah.
Mr. Hicks, any comments concerning school board transportation?
We'll assess and make a decision, that's the superintendent's decision, and
Understood.
by 2 o'clock, she tries to, I know Mr. Gardner with facilities are looking at facilities and assessing any problems we have there now.
Okay. All right. Just a comment for the board, as you may have heard, Escambia County Jail had a major explosion over there last night. A couple inmates were killed and about 100 injured. They may reach out to Walton County and other surrounding counties to staff or hold their inmate population. We has a date, unless Stan knows something. We haven't gotten an official request from them, but I think we ought to ask Stan to get with Sheriff Atkinson and see if we can offer that extra pod we got available if they need it. Is there anybody else out there?
We just asked for some action to empower admin to work with the sheriff, and if they do need it, we won't have to reconvene in order to take any action we would need with that.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I want that second pot, I want that pot to do some really cleaning up before you can move anybody in there, or is it,
They get the inmates to do it when they move in.
it's ready, good, okay.
They get the inmates to do it when they move in.
Okay, anybody else? Chief Weeks, you got any comments, concerns?
We fared really well for the city. I think the 7 inches you might be talking about actually triangle, where they have water in it. And I saw that, some pictures of that. They really had a lot of water. They flooded their entire business over there. Not sure how they got in there, but it was pretty deep. As of yesterday, late yesterday, we already had it cleared out. But pretty much everywhere else is doing pretty good, and all the water is, going down. 11th Street was underwater right there by the railroad track, but it's subsided at this point. The lake is high. We passed the high water mark in 2010, obviously, so we fared pretty well.
All right, thank you, Chief.
I understand a water line broke or ruptured there at Triangle, that's what made it happen.
Okay. Wayne, you got any comments, you or Mac? I don't want to overlook anybody. Buddy, you okay? Wanda, Glenda, Melissa, you got the money ready? We're going to need it. All right. Anybody else got any further comments? Any additional action you need from the board? Mark?
Do we need to reopen the annex tomorrow, or are we going to wait to do that later?
I'd say, as far as the annex tomorrow, those that would typically report if they can get there safely, come in. If not, we certainly understand. We're not going to be taking roll.
Ms. Rhonda, this screen kind of blocked you. Didn't mean to overlook you. Any concerns from the constitutionals concerning the courthouse operations?
No, sir, we just needed to know if the annex was going to be open tomorrow.
Does that work with you and your staff? Okay. I think that's going to be our position. It's just if they can get there safely and go to work, fine. If not, we understand.
Okay.
Mr. Jones, you'd mentioned about or Commissioner Chapman, about the extra help. Do we want to go that route and get some of the local contractors pulled in? Or do you want to let's wait and see what we got, assess it?
Yeah, I think that might be the best way, is just hopefully we can get our assessment done the first part of the week. And if necessary, we probably contract this stuff out. Or if we think we can get those resources from DOT or other state agencies, come over here with graders and bulldozers, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Just an option. I'll yield to you as far as what you think is best on that.
Very good.
Do we need a motion in case he does need to hire somebody?
Yeah, you can make a motion to authorize him to, on a temporary emergency basis during the state of emergency, hire somebody if
What he
necessary.
said.
Okay.
What he said.
And I will work with Mark closely on this, make sure we handle it the correct way.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner.
And we'll just say that we may need another meeting early next week to address some of these issues, so we'll keep you posted. And one other comment I'd like to make is I thought the communication efforts yesterday were exemplary. Again, with 4 of us in D.C., we received good information on a timely basis, and so the commissioners even there were able to be apprised of what the situation on the ground was. So for all of those efforts, Lee, we appreciate all of the good stuff you got out for us. And so good communication overcomes a lot of obstacles if we'll utilize it. So we appreciate those efforts.
The only other thing I got to say is Governor is supposed to come over here. He may still be in Escambia County. And if he does, may reach out to get up with Wilmer or some of the other staff to be available to answer any questions he may have. Anything else?
Did we vote on the motion for the state of emergency? I don't remember.
Yes.
Okay.
Seeing none? We're adjourned.